Um, how much research did you do in preparing something like Gravity? I know in the afterwards you mentioned, or I'm sorry, in the author's note you mentioned that you went to the LGBTQ Center at Wake Forest. So what kind of
Mhm.
resources were available to you there, and where else did you go to research your characters and your story?
Well, most of my research really was more like anecdotal research. So just talking to people, talking to friends and um, friends of friends, and just trying to gather as much um, as much experience as I could, kind of talking to people about what their lives have been like. So I talked to some transgender people, people who identify as non-binary, and oh, and as you mentioned, I had a professor from Wake Forest University who is also the founder or the director of the LGBTQ center there. And they read the book for me and provided feedback and notes that were really, really helpful. So, one of the things I wanted to be very conscious of, because while I am queer, I'm not transgender, and I really um, wanted to make sure I was doing a good job of in my representation and not doing anything that would seem harmful or exploitative in any way.
That makes sense. And how do you walk that line? What tips do you have for authors that would like to write about this subject, and certainly they want to make sure that there's drama, there's romance, there's all the things you come to expect when you come to a story, because at the end of the day you do want some entertainment value for
Mhm.
your readers. It's not nonfiction. Um, so how do you walk that line between making sure that you're providing that story suiting your thematic purposes without exploiting the characters?
Hmm. Um, for me, I think while the situations and the circumstances of my character's life, like Chris, for example, who's the character who's transgender in something like Gravity, um, so our lives are different in a lot of ways, but the what I really try to do is make the emotional worlds very much based on my own. And so I think when I allow my own experiences and my own emotions and thoughts into these characters in different ways, that helps me to really stay connected to them as if they're a real person. And I mean, I don't know. That's just sort of been my approach to trying to draw characters who are real and um, not one dimensional, is because there's so much of me in them, and I really begin to think of them as real people. And so, um, yeah.
I don't imagine that process changes that much depending on the book. You've always got to do some research, and you're always going to find that
Yeah.
part of the character that's at least a little bit like yourself, so that you can understand them and their inner workings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even my villains, I just find the most evil part of me, and like, all right, if I took down all my restraints and just let myself run amok, how evil could I be if I went that direction? And that's the character.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. I mean, I think every character, even the ones that nobody is going to like and they're not supposed to like, even those come from me or, some part of my life.
And I'm also chuckling because, of course, you have to do research. I just had published this
Right.
book, Banneker Bones and the Alligator People, and I can't tell you how much research I've done on alligators, and if an alligator person were a thing, what would that be like? What I want to make sure that I'm respectful of the alligator people and any other topic that I ever create. So I think most authors, so long as you have
Yeah.
that sense of wanting to respect your subject matter, whatever you're writing about, you're probably going to be all right. But did
Yeah.
you? I'm sorry.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry. I think you hear
yes,
my
sorry.
dog barking.
Well, I've got a cat running around here at my feet, so we're gonna be all right. Um, oh, I had a question for you, and now I'm thinking about the cat, and I've forgotten. Um, I wanted to ask you if you had employed sensitivity readers, or who did you take the book to, other than your editor and your agent?
Well, I had a couple of friends, good friends who I really trusted with the material and who had given me a lot of feedback through the drafting process. So I had some friends, and then I had the professor at Wake Forest who works in their LGBTQ center every day and deals with queer youth on a daily basis, and so they were really steeped in a lot of this culture that I'm a little bit removed from, since I'm a writer and I work from home, and I actually don't interact with teenagers all that often. So it was really important for me to get a perspective on this book that that was different from mine.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's really important, especially when you're writing characters that are outside of your own experience. I think it's really important to have readers who can just kind of watch out for anything that you might not think of that could be problematic, because the last thing that you would want to do is write something that could be harmful.
Yeah, that's and I'm assuming the intention is always pure. It's just making
Mhm.
little mistakes, not knowing what you need to know to not be wrong.